I just showed you how to create 366 different designs in a matter of minutes. Today I'm going to show you how to create 300 plus designs in a matter of minutes. But in my last video, I showed you how you can upload over 300 designs in a matter of minutes to your Etsy shop using this software called Mydesigns. And I'm going to leave a link in the description. Use my code LZ25. It'll get you 25% off. Welcome back to Bad Squishy. So we're going to open up Adobe Illustrator and we're going to go ahead and make a new file. Now we want this to be the size that we're going to want for our print-on-demand designs. And I've already set this up before. See how I have 4500 by 5400 pixels? That's a good standard. So the width is 4500 pixels by 5400 pixels. This is the best for t-shirts, etc. And so this is the size that I'm choosing to use today. And it's really important that you pick the size ahead of time. So we're going to add some text. I'm going to change the size to 72. Looks like we're going to have to change the size by dragging it. So when you're dragging this, you're actually going to want to hold shift. Otherwise, you can make it a little bit oblong or make the font look funny. See how it stretches it in funny ways? So I'm going to go Control Z and then I'm going to hold shift and it keeps it uniform when you're resizing. Drag this over here. I want to use a different font, Chalky. There we go, Chalky Regular. Hold shift, drag this a little bit larger, and I'm going to change this to January 1st. And then I'm actually going to grab this guy, Control C, Control V, bring this one down here, hold shift, shrink it down. Capricorn is January 1st. Now I'm going to place an image. These are just all the zodiac symbols that I found online. I'm going to grab Capricorn. Okay, now that I've placed these how I want, I'm going to come over here and notice these have different names here. Capricorn, January 1st. This January 1st and this Capricorn, these are going to be variables because what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a script that automates creating 365 of these designs based on the birth date every single day of the year, and it's going to have its associated zodiac sign. January 1st is going to be variable 1, variable 1. Now it's really important that you spell this correctly and make sure there's not a space between the variable and the number. So this is variable 1. I'm going to rename this Capricorn as variable 2 with no spaces. And then the image, I'm going to just name image. And these names are really important and you'll see why. Okay, now the next thing to do, I'm going to put a link in the description. You're going to find this link in the description and you'll click this link and you'll go and download these 2 scripts. These are some Adobe scripts that were actually shared to me by Curtis Blackmore, who is one of the owners of Mydesigns. So it was really awesome of him. So we're going to go ahead and download these. And it's super important where you place these files. So we're going into our C drive. We're going to go into Program Files, Adobe Illustrator, Presets, and then in the ENUS. And then we're going into Scripts. And there's 2 different files here. There's Deal with Overset Text and Variable Importer. As you can see, I've already placed these files in here, so I'm not going to do it again. But this is where you would save these files. So again, it's your C drive, Program Files, Adobe Illustrator, Presets, ENUS, Scripts, and then we save them inside of here. And this is how Adobe Illustrator will be able to find these scripts and use them. And like I say, I'll leave this link in the description so that you can go and download those Illustrator scripts. So there's a few windows that you'll want to see on the side of your Illustrator so that you can access them easily. We have an actions, we have our variables, and we have our layers. In order to bring these in view, you just need to go over to your window and then workspaces. I'm on the automation workspace, and then I also came down here. See, you can check actions, workspace, actions here. Make sure that's selected. I've also got the layers selected and the variables down here. These are the windows that I want to be able to see on this side so that I can manipulate them. Okay, now that we've downloaded those scripts for Adobe Illustrator, we need to create an action showing Adobe how to export an image and save it automatically. So we're going to come over here to this little plus under the Actions tab. Remember, if you don't see this here, then come and select Actions in the window. We're going to click on this little plus sign, Create New Action. And we want to call this Export PNG. And then when we click record, we're going to show Adobe what type of action we want it to be able to do automatically. Because we're going to tell it to create 365 different designs. So when we run this action, we want it to save all of these different designs as PNGs in a folder. So right now I'm recording a new action. So we're going to go up here to File, Export, Export As, and I want to select PNG. I'm going to create a new folder in here and call this output folder. I'm going to go into this folder. I'll just call this export test because we're just showing Adobe what to do. Yes, we want it on a high 300 ppi. Most print-on-demand services require a 300 ppi, so we're going to keep this as high quality. Yes, we want it to have a transparent background. Okay, now we've shown Adobe how to export a file as a PNG. So we can come over here and stop recording. So we've just created a new action called Export As, okay? And you'll see why we've done that. All right, it's time to create a spreadsheet, and we're going to use Google Docs. And this spreadsheet is going to be all the different variations that we want Adobe Illustrator to create, right? There's 365 different variations of this design. It'll be the birthday, specific birthday, zodiac symbol, and then the name of the zodiac sign. So we could come in here and type out all the different birthdays and we could associate them with their zodiac sign and everything. But I would much rather have ChatGPT do all the work for me. If you have not used ChatGPT, you'll want to sign up for an account over at OpenAI, and so that you can gain access to their ChatGPT, which is free. But I'm at chat.openai.com. And I'm just going to give it a little prompt. Create a table showing every day of the year. Make sure I'm spelling these correctly. Create a table showing every day of the year. In the first column, include the month and the number of the day, i.e. January 1st. I'm going to put this in quotations. For the first column, and in the next column, show the associated zodiac sign. Make sure to include February 29th. Include all 366 days of the leap year. Go. Beautiful. Now ChatGPT is getting right to work on this for us. Sometimes you got to click continue generating. It'll do a certain amount and then it will stop. So we want to generate all 366 days. I'm going to make sure it included February 29th. Yes, it did. All right. Thank you, ChatGPT. We now have 366 different variations of designs that we'll be able to create because we have everybody's birthday associated with their zodiac sign. So I'm going to actually go ahead and select this entire table. Control C. Come over to my spreadsheet. I'm going to come over here up in the top corner, and then I'm going to paste values only because I don't want it to paste the font colors and everything. Change this to variable 1. This is our variable 2. And then we're going to create another column called image. It's very important that you name these specifically variable 1, variable 2, and image because in our Adobe Illustrator automation, we will be using these variables to connect with this spreadsheet and gather the information in order to generate all of the different designs. I went ahead and I downloaded all of these symbols. So this is where we will tell Adobe Illustrator to grab images from, okay, for each of these. Okay, so in the image section, we're going to paste the address for each of the images that are associated with the different signs. So we're going to come over to Capricorn. We're going to want to hold down Shift and then right click, and you'll come down and you'll find this button called Copy as Path. Now you'll notice if I do not hold down Shift, that button does not exist. So you have to hold down Shift on your keyboard, right click, Copy as Path. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to paste. So we've just pasted the address of this particular image, the Capricorn image, right? And so now January 1st, Capricorn, and this is where you will find the image variable. Now we can come over to this little corner and we're going to drag it all the way down to the last Capricorn. And I actually know that there's Capricorns in December, so we're going to go all the way to the end and find Capricorn here. And I'm going to paste it here as well. And then I'm going to drag this down to the bottom. Now all the Capricorns are associated with this image address. Go back up to the top, and now we're looking for Aquarius. Here's Aquarius. Shift, right click, copy as path, paste. I'm just going to do this while it's selected. Come down to the bottom of Aquarius. Yeah, see? So we're at the bottom of Aquarius. Now we're on Pisces. Shift, right click, copy as path, paste. No, do not do that. Sometimes the spreadsheet wants to do things automatically, and I've noticed it doesn't always work out. So I'm going to just keep doing this manually. It's pretty fast anyway. Pisces is done. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these. So I've gone ahead and I've pasted all of the different addresses to link the images to this spreadsheet, so Adobe Illustrator will know exactly where to find the image. Now I've just noticed a mistake that I've made, and this will probably happen to you. I don't know why the computer does this sometimes, but you'll notice that there's quotations by each one of these. These quotations will actually confuse Adobe Illustrator, and it will not know where to find these images. So we need to go through and actually delete these quotation marks. Just delete that quotation mark and this quotation mark, and then I'm going to do the same thing and then just drag this across them all so that it copies them all and replaces. See all the quotation marks, how they disappeared? I'm going to have to go through and remove all these quotation marks really quick, so I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so I've gone ahead and removed all of the quotation marks from these image addresses. And there's one more thing that we need to do on this spreadsheet before we move on. So when each of these variations of designs are created in Adobe Illustrator, we want to be specific about what we want the file name to be called when Adobe Illustrator saves them and exports each of the designs. So we're going to create one more column, and we're going to name this column Dataset. So I'm going to click on this, come up here and format this. Right now it's automatic. I want this to just be plain text. And I'm going to do that same thing for all of these, plain text. Okay, so inside of this data set, I'm going to create a little code, and we're just using Google Spreadsheet. Okay, so now it says, if we spread this out, you'll be able to see that little code there allows us to join these two together. So we have January 1st Capricorn, and this is what I want each of the files to be named. And if I grab this here, it will apply that code to the rest of these. Drag it all the way down to the bottom. December 31st. See? December 31st Capricorn. November 3rd Scorpio. As you can see, it has applied and created all of these combined variables so that we can name our design files exactly what they are. Okay, so now this spreadsheet is completed. We have our variable 1, variable 2, our data set, and our image. This spreadsheet is ready for Adobe Illustrator. We're going to download this as a CSV file. So download CSV. This is the type of file that we want to use for the output. I'm going to come over here into the output folder that we created, and I'm going to say Zodiac spreadsheet. All right, now we're going to jump back over to Adobe Illustrator. Make sure you have your layers tab, your actions tab, and your variables tab. Okay, now I'm going to show you what we do with that CSV file that we just created from our spreadsheet. We're going to come over here to File, come down to our scripts, and I just want to remind you this variable importer, this is a script that we downloaded at the beginning of the video, along with this deal with overset text script, and we'll get into this one as well. But we're going to click on our variable importer. We're going to choose our data file, the CSV file that we just created. This is showing the 4 different variables that we created. Now something I'm noticing right off the bat is the image is showing as a text type, but this image should be showing as an image type, so we made a mistake. There's something that I need to go fix on the spreadsheet, but it's a really quick fix, so I'm going to cancel this. Go back to the spreadsheet. We have our 4 variables here, the variable 1, variable 2 data set, and the image variable. I forgot to put an @ symbol at the beginning of image, so this is very important. There needs to be an @ symbol. Okay? So @image is what we need to have here. So I'm going to go ahead and download this as a CSV again. We're just going to overwrite this existing one. Okay. And we're going to go back to Adobe Illustrator, come back over to File, and we're going to come to our scripts, variable importer. And we're going to go choose that CSV file. And now you'll notice this is showing an image variable type. So we have our 3 text variables, and then we have an image variable type. So that is correct. Now, before we move on and import the variables, we need to come over here to options, because right now it is just generating names for each of the files automatically and just naming them whatever. So in options, we need to tell Adobe Illustrator what to name the files that it's going to be generating, because it's going to generate all 365 different design files. And I want to tell Adobe Illustrator to name them specifically what we want them to be named. Remember, we created those names and we named the variable dataset. So we're going to come over here in the field 1 and select our dataset variable here. Okay. And then in field 2, we're going to say nothing. Field 3, we're going to say nothing. We just want it to take what's inside of the dataset variable and use that to name each of the design files. Okay, now this says dataset, so I'm happy with that. And we're going to click import variables. All this other stuff you can leave exactly as is. And then we assigned our dataset. Import variables. Your data has been imported. It contains 4 variables, which is true. We have variable 1, variable 2, dataset, and the image variable, right? And we can go ahead and cycle through these if we'd like to make sure that it's working properly. So this picture should change as soon as this variable down here should change as soon as the date. Yep, this is looking good. I don't want to cycle through all 366 because it will take a lot of time. So I'm going to click OK. Now I want you to watch this variable section because we just barely imported all those variables. Adobe Illustrator is creating 366 different variations of our design based off of those variables, and it's going to show up right here. Those 4 variables will show up right here. Okay, so we're all set. Check this out. We have our 4 variables here, and we can come over here and manually cycle through them if we like, just by clicking on these arrows. See over at the right of the screen? Now I'm going to go back to January 10th because I noticed, see how the 10 is actually sticking outside of our design area as well as the J? We're going to have to solve this issue when we're exporting each of these PNG files because we don't want this to be cut off here when it's getting put on a t-shirt or whatever else type of print-on-demand item that we're creating. And that is why we created our deal with overset text script. That's why we downloaded that script. So we're going to select inside of here on the export PNG. Remember when we created this export PNG action, we want to select that. Then we're going to click on these 3 lines up here, insert menu item, and we're going to search with our deal with overset. Here, let's just see if it finds it. Deal with overset text. Great, it found it. And it placed it beneath this export as. We actually want to place it under our export PNG action that we created so that it runs through this script every time it exports a design. And what it's going to do is it's going to automatically change the font size of this January 10th or any other ones that are going off of the page here. So when this saves, this will actually be shrunk down just enough to fit on the page. And that's it. We're all set. We are ready to export 366 different designs, and we're going to save them to a folder. Here is how we do that. We're going to come back up here to these 3 little bars up here in the Actions tab, and we're going to come to Batch. And the action that we want to be using is our Export PNG action that we created. You'll notice all these other actions are listed here. Make sure that you're on your Export PNG action. And we're going to choose the folder that we would like to output to. Zodiac output. I'm going to choose and make sure that this is the same. So I chose my output folder on both selections here. And we also need to make sure that we specify the source, which is the data set. Make sure that this is a data set. And we want the file name to save as the data set name, which we set this to when we were importing our CSV file originally. So make sure that data set name is selected here. Then we're going to click OK. We're going to start seeing all of those designs show up here. Here's the first one, January 1st, Capricorn. And it named it exactly what we wanted it to be named. And depending on your computer resources, it's going to take some time to create all 366 designs. So we're going to just leave the computer to this and we'll be back. Something I wanted to point out as well, we don't need this test file anymore, so we can go ahead and delete this from the folder. And I'm going to move this CSV file into the Zodiac section because I want this folder to only contain the 366 designs that we created. And there we have it. We now have 365 different variations of each birthday and the associated Zodiac sign. So I just showed you how to create 366 different designs in a matter of minutes. This is some pretty powerful software and a powerful script that you can use with Adobe Illustrator. And now we'll take these designs and upload them into Mydesigns and create some products with them that we'll be able to publish in a matter of minutes as well. All right, guys, I'm going to end the video right here. I've got all of these designs uploaded to mydesigns.io, where I'll be able to edit everything in bulk. I'll be able to generate all the tags in bulk using this Fraser AI. It's based off all the top selling stores of Etsy and Shopify. I'm going to be able to create all the descriptions at the same time using these bulk edit features in Mydesigns. This is an incredible software. I created a full beginner course in my previous video. I'll link that in the description. Also, it might pop up here in the corner. Definitely go and watch that video. And if you decide to get a paid membership through Mydesigns, use my coupon code LZ25. You'll get 25% off. And there's also a free version that's pretty awesome for getting to know this software. This mydesigns.io is a game changer. And also my coupon code again, LZ25, to save you 25%. And that is the end of the video. We just finished making 366 designs in a matter of minutes using Adobe Illustrator and an automation script. Be sure to like and subscribe. There's going to be a lot more content coming that's designed to help you create passive income and save yourself thousands of hours while doing so. Because that's the point of passive, right? Labor time is the most expensive thing when you're an entrepreneur. So anything that can save you time is a huge asset. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.